That's the way we do. Am I right? Oh, exactly. Well, let me read you. Oh, let me add one more. What about those people that we encounter that are not our friends?
Our enemies.
Ooh, our enemies. And what about when they're mean to us? Well, that is the reaction that some of us have. Others, we are really happy when they fall down and skin their knee. We're really happy when they somebody else comes along and steals their lunch money, whatever it is. I know y'all don't do things like that anymore. Again, that's going back.
Yeah, we don't have much money. We get it for free.
Yeah, exactly. But we cheer when those that we don't like, our enemies, when something bad happens to them, don't we? Do we? I mean, do we cheer when something bad happens to them? I mean, we do. It's the natural reaction that we have. As human beings, it's our natural reaction. Let's look at Proverbs 24, verses 17 and 18. 17 and 18, chapter 24 of Proverbs. So y'all can look if you want to, or you can read it. See, it's up to you. But keep looking. You might. As a matter of fact, you may want to do that. So Proverbs 24, 17 and 18. I'm going to go ahead and start reading. And it says, well, let me make sure what it says. Rejoice not. I said, rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbles. And here's why. Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So I'll put that in our regular old everyday English. When your enemy, when your chief competition, when the bad guy falls, when he stumbles, when something bad happens to him, when they do awful and things are bad for them, don't cheer. Don't be happy about that. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you got to be just rooting for them. You ain't got to do that. But don't be happy that they've fallen, that they have failed in something they're trying to do. Don't be happy about that. And the reason you don't want to be happy about that is because you see, and we're going to get on into that real quick, but the Lord takes care of that for you. It ain't for us. And that leads us into Roman numeral number 2. Who does vengeance belong to? And I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. We're going to be in Romans chapter 12. So y'all can start turning that way. But let me ask you this. How do you feel when the bad guy wins? And I'm trying to think of some of these superheroes, and I can't anymore. All right, and some of us a little bit older. How did you feel when Superman got killed?
I didn't really care. He came back to life.
Yeah, but how did you feel?
I didn't really care. I never watched it.
That ain't real.
Let me just go ahead and tell you, that was the day that comics died when Superman died, because Superman can't die. He's the good guy. He is the ultimate good guy.
I don't care because I don't watch that.
He might get a little down, but old boy's going to get back up. It's kind of like old Wildcat when the coach, he starts, or it was a bullet Bob, one of them. Starts stomping out of the egg, and Kryptonite just loses all the strength, and there he goes again. Superman was bad. Superman was the greatest good guy there ever was. He couldn't be beat. So how do you feel about your enemy when they do good? How do you feel when that chief competition in that tournament whoops your tail and goes on to take the title? They get to take the ring home and trophy, whatever it is you get nowadays. I know it changes according to how cheap the tournament director is. But anyway, how do you feel about that? When the team that you can't stand, they just
Stabs me in the middle of my heart.
just makes you mad. Oh,
Not really.
how do you feel when those that are mean to you, and those that are always talking about you, and those that are always picking on you, and those that are doing those things, how do you feel when they do good? How do you feel when they get recognized for something good?
Because they're not good.
That's right, you're mad. If they ain't good, they're not really good, are they? And that's what we feel. We feel, I mean, again, it goes back, it's human. It's the way, the people we are, the flesh and blood people that we are, That's the way it is. We naturally are going to be mad that they've done well. If something good has happened to them. It's just what we naturally do. Let's look at Romans 12, verses 19. Verse 19 in Romans chapter 12. And it says, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So guess what now? We don't even get mad about it. We don't even get to get back at them. Just because they tripped us don't mean we'll get to go trip them back. No. Because if we do, we're doing the job that God is going to be doing for us. He's going to take care of the vengeance. He's going to get people back. And you say he ain't going to be, I thought he was going to be nice. He is nice. And then, you know what? He'll let anybody go to heaven, and that'll do what it takes to get to heaven. But still, vengeance is God's. We need to leave it to God to get back at people. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your anything on worrying about what other people are getting away with, what other people are doing to you. Don't worry about it. It don't matter. You know what? It does not matter. It really don't. Now, as long as we look at it from just our own point of views, that's not going to work. You've got to look at it from God's point of view, from what it says. But let's keep on going. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to act toward others? Let's turn to Matthew. Hey, hold your place on Romans 12. We're coming back to that. But let's go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. The 12th verse of the 7th chapter of Matthew. And it says, Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Now, what is that? Anybody ever heard that? Or have you heard it a different way? Anybody? Children or adults? Don't know what that was that I just read? I'll read it one more time. But I say, have they not heard? Whoops, wrong one. 7 and 12. Oh, I'm back in wrong. Oh, whoops. 7 and 12. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So what is that? It's got a name.
The golden rule.
Boom. That's right. It's the golden rule. So how do we normally say the golden rule?
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. So, yeah, the golden rule. That's right. Now we know it as the golden rule. All right. What does that really mean? Anybody? Raise a hand. What does it really mean?
Come on, guys.
It means, so actually this is the reaping and sowing part, where I used to would never answer anything. So I'll have to answer it now. No, it's really tough to do this, but it's the way, if everybody, think about this, what if everybody that we encounter each and every day, what if everybody treated you the way they wanted to be treated? And what if you treated everybody you met the way you want to be treated?
What if you wanted to be treated bad so you could get attention?
That's actually called an act. It's not the truth. Everybody actually wants to be treated really good. That's what we want. If we can't help it, that's the natural way, is we want to be treated good. We want others to treat us good, and we want to treat others good until we get mad. Nah, that's a whole other story on that. But just think about this. If everybody done that, if everybody treated each other the way they wanted to be treated, you think we'd have a lot of the problems that we have today?
Nope.
Probably not. And let me tell you what. Some people are like, well, if everybody's like that, we couldn't have them in ball games because we couldn't have competition. No, that's not true.
What if they wanted to be treated like they wanted to be the best in life?
Again, you're not listening. If you treat, let me put it like this. If I treat you like you're the best all the time, you'd like that, wouldn't you? So why don't you go around treating people like they're the best? Because if you do it, and let me tell y'all, this is what's amazing. If you will do that to people, if you will treat people that way, some of them start treating you back that way. It's crazy. But now let's look right over here. I want to go to Romans, back in Romans, like I told y'all. Hold on to Romans chapter 12. And I'm just going to read through a few verses real quick. First will be verse 9, then we'll read verse 14, 17, 20, and 21. So verse 9 says, let love be without dissimulation. Dissimulation is concealment. So let love be without concealment. Don't hide your love. Abhor or loathe or hate that which is evil. Cleave or love that which is good. So it says, don't hide your love from folks. Love folks and show it. Hate things that are evil. Hate things that are mean and awful. Hate those things. Don't hate people. Hate the things that are evil. Love those things which are good. Do things that are good. The things that you do, let it be good. Always. In 14 it says, bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. So when that person is mean to you, bless them. If you don't do nothing else, turn from them, go away. And in your heart, Lord bless them. Just bless them. Because you know what? There might just be a good reason for why they're not there. Maybe they ain't getting blessed. Maybe they don't ever get blessed. Maybe nobody's nice to them. You don't know just what it is. Don't matter what it is either. You don't have to go find out what it is. That's not the point. The point is, ask God to bless them. It might just be that you are the only blessing they ever had in the day. Could be the only one. Verse 17. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. Just because somebody punches you in the nose don't mean you got to punch them back in the nose. We all want to. I've done it a bunch of times. But it's not what you're supposed to do. Don't do that. Don't punch them back in the nose just because they punched you in the nose. I ain't saying don't defend yourself. You always defend yourself. But don't punch them in the nose because they punched you in the nose. Punch them in the nose because you're trying to stop them from killing you. That's another story. But don't never pay back evil. Just because somebody does something mean to you, don't be mean back to them. That's not the answer. I think I've had this conversation with a couple of daughters of mine before. But I bet you that it's going to be most siblings that are this way. One does somebody's mean to me, I'm going to be mean back to them.
That's right.
God says no. That's not what we do. Hey, it's what. It's the way my sisters and my brother were, except for me. I wasn't that way. They were that way.
You were bullied wrong.
But never be mean back to somebody just because they're mean to you. That's not going to do you any good. Verse 20 says, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, if your enemy's hungry, what you supposed to do?
Feed him.
Take him a Big Mac. Give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, what do?
Give him a drink.
What if you ain't got but one drink left?
Give them a second, then give them the other.
Give it to him. Give it to him. You'll be all right. Lord will take care of you.
What if you're thirsty?
You'll be all right. Bless him, Lord will bless you.
Hey,
hold on, we're not done. Hey, you know why? Do you know why we do those things? To that person that's being mean to us.
Be nice
Well, listen to the way Paul wrote about it. It says, for in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
What?
You know what that means? That means that this person's being mean, they're trying to hurt you. That's what they want. Oh, they want it so bad, they want to hurt you. They want to hurt you on the inside. They want to break you. They want to break you down. But instead of being mean to them back, be nice to them. Do something for them. Why? Because you're killing them with kindness. Because that heaping the coals on your head, that means that you're just burning them up. Because they begin to realize this person is being good to me regardless of what I'm doing.
The jealousy.
And they realize that you're not getting, they realize that they're not getting to you either.
But the thing is that, and here's the key, the only way that we can do that, there ain't one way we can do that, and that's through Christ. We can't do it on our own. It has to be through Christ. If we do it through Christ, and we're doing that, we're continuing to kill them with kindness, as the saying goes, you're leading them to Christ. You're showing them Christ. That's the key. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. This is why it's important. The very best way to end a conflict, y'all, or to lead others to Christ, is through our actions. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to talk. We have to tell them. We have to talk about things because they don't know. So we have to talk about it. But more important than our words is the way we live. People's going to forget the things we say, especially when the things we do don't match up to the things we say. We can say this about Jesus' love. We can say whatever we want to say about Christianity towards somebody. But then if our actions and reactions are hateful or spiteful or vengeful or nasty, then that's the only thing they see. And then not only have we not led somebody to Christ, we've actually led somebody away from Christ. Now, I'm not saying we have to put up with things. We don't have to put up with being ridiculed and harassed and bullied and things like that. We don't. Our reaction to that should be one, we can just walk away. Two,
Snitch.
two, we can look at them and smile and say, okay, and walk away. I had a saying, and it took me years, y'all, but when I worked hand crews, firefighting, I was pretty competitive myself. And even as an older man, I took a lot of pride in the fact that I could out-hike, out-climb, and out-carry, and out-firefight anybody on my crews at any age. I was 42 years old and could still whoop everybody on my crew, getting up that mountain, putting out that fire. I took pride in that. That was not exactly good. It's good that I pushed myself, but it was not good that I'm prideful and I can do that to people, because it don't lead anybody to anything. As long as I do it the right way, it does. But I also learned how to say something to a young man who wanted to argue about all of it. I finally learned to say, you're probably right, and turn around and walk away. Because they get harsh on me about it, but you're probably right. Try that. Somebody's being rough on you. Somebody's harsh. They're saying mean things, doing mean things, and they're talking bad about you. And you just look at them and say, you're probably right, and you walk away. I'm going to tell you what, that heaps the coals on the head right there, because they can't stand it. You didn't argue back with them. You didn't show them that you was hurt. And that's part of what they do. They want to see the hurt in you, and they want to see that hurt in you because they hurt that bad. They're hurting. That's why they want to hurt you. Why are they hurting? They hurt because they're missing the one thing that can give them peace and happiness. It's not money, it's not success, it's not fame, it's not fortune. None of those things give happiness. Christ gives happiness. And it's our jobs to lead and show and be an example of that. Like I said, you don't have to take awful stuff. You don't have to be treated bad. You can walk away from it. Jesus told the disciples, if you go into a town and they receive you not, turn around, shake the dust off your shoes, and keep on going to the next town. It's their fault. They're lost. But if the Lord ever puts it on your heart to keep on being kind to somebody, you do that, regardless of what they do. And I'll leave you with this. It has to do with happiness and not happiness. It's a line, basically, from one of my favorite movies. I love to use movie stuff in here because a lot of times it goes together. A river runs through it. And the preacher dad said, the poor in Christ are the richest people in the world. And they are. It don't matter. If we're poor and we don't have a bunch of possessions to cloud up our judgments and make us desire to hold on to those things, we're poor in this world, but we know Christ, we are happy. We're peaceful. We are the richest people on the face of the earth. But let me tell you what, the poor without Christ, and that's the way he said, they are the lowest, they are the unhappiest creatures of all. There's nothing worse than the despair of having nothing here and nothing laid up for after here. Because the thing is you got a lot here and you don't know Christ, well, you can be happy here because your paradise is here. Those of us that don't have a lot here, we'll still be happy if we know Christ because we've got it laid up in heaven. We're the richest. But just know that. Think about that too. And here, we're in Holmes County. There's a whole lot of us that qualify for the poor side. But the ones that don't know Christ are the ones that are hurting the most. They're the ones that want you to hurt too because they're hurting. You should hurt. Let's bow our heads. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for another wonderful and beautiful day you've given us. And Father, we're so thankful to be able to come back into your house again to fellowship right here with each other, Father. It's a wonderful blessing, and I pray that you would do nothing but bless it, Father. Keep us safe and keep us whole and keep us healthy, Father, and let us once again enjoy the camaraderie and the fellowship of being here with each other, Father. We thank you for this opportunity. I pray, Father, that you would bless each and every person in here. I ask you, Father, that you would just lift and touch and heal and give peace, Father, to each and every person that's needing it. I ask you, Father, just to let us understand. Let us live allowing you to take care of vengeance, Father. Let us not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, Father, so not for anything benefit of us, Father, but to benefit those that don't know Christ. Lord, let us be the light to them. Let our joy spill over on them, Father, and just run all over them so they can be joyful too. I pray, Father, that you would just be with each and every one here, lead and guide and direct us, Father, and keep us safe and keep us healthy. Bring us back to the next point in time, Father, to be your will to give us that time. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, it's yours. Everybody in radio land. I'll catch you later. OGB.